this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. It's love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. It's a love that heals, a love that sets me free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. There is only.
Okay then. So we had Jammarsta just letting off some lyrics as usual. Very knowledgeable. You know, Jam's getting stronger and stronger every single day. You know, it's like one of them man, it's like the Terminator, just getting stronger and stronger. You can't stop him. So, you know, so Jammer's big up his status every single time. Inside the house we have Aunty Jean,
Greetings.
and she'll be sharing some information, and all roads lead to the African market. That's Aunty Jean, African market, this Sunday at the Chestnut Community Centre. So she'll be sharing some more information and give a little background about herself, as you know. Aunt Jean is no ordinary person. See, Aunt Jean, big up your status.
Greetings, everyone. Greetings. I'm extraordinary. Yes. Yes. Auntie Jean here. Give thanks, and to your listening ears. I mean, we've just been what's the word? Educated or edutained by the one and only Jammers.
Jammers, yeah.
And to watch him, it's a pity there's not a camera here. To watch Jammers in motion, he's literally feeling what he's saying, and he's expressing what he's saying as he's saying it. And it's almost he's pulling out the words with his arms and his hands. So yeah, it's an inspiration to watch and hear, to see Jammers.
Yeah, Jammers inspiration. As I said, it's getting stronger and stronger. It's like the Terminator. It just keeps getting stronger. You can't stop him. And Jammers on a roll. I must confess, on a roll. And I just want to touch on Auntie Jean about the event Sunday, and you'll have Natalie. We're talking about, is it Mind Control?
Yes, she's the author of Remote Control.
Remote Control, that's it, yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason why I just want to jump in there because she's very, very interesting character. But what's interesting that you might feel that she's a bit off edge or whatever. But when she spoke at the event you had, it's a few women similar experience. So they were so glad when Natalie had the book out, so they can come together. So I just want to bring it into the mix because Natalie is a very powerful person. That's what I want to say.
Very much so. Very much powerful person, considering that what she's actually been through. She's actually been a target for some time now, and I believe that she said she's been chipped in her ear, so that she's subjected to frequencies, and obviously they're directing these frequencies directly at her home, and there's places that she goes. There's obviously somebody there following her, and they, as I said, this is you're a victim, but there's no perpetrator you can point the finger at to say, well, this person's doing it to me or that person's doing it to me. I believe it's by the powers that be, and as I said, Natalie has come through surviving. I think the word is surviving this onslaught, and for no fault of her own. Anybody can be a target. Anybody can be a target.
And how do you get to meet Natalie? Just out of interest.
How I got to meet Natalie? Would you believe it was via Garfield? Garfield, who works for the Voice newspaper. Yeah. And he said that he's got somebody who's written a book and she's very shy and she would like to let the people know about her book, and he introduced me to her, and I said to her, would you like to do a presentation, because that time she's had her book already published, and she says, well, she hasn't done a presentation before, she doesn't know. So I goes, well, okay, then we start small. So what you can do is just come and just do 10 minutes. So you don't have to do a full hour's presentation, just come do 10 minutes. And she came when the African Culture Market was down at Canary Wharf. And that particular day, I think it was a very cold day or something like that, because there was a few people. So it was better for Natalie to start for the first time making a presentation with a smaller audience and a great big audience. So she was on there a little bit longer than 10 minutes. I think it's about 20 minutes in all. So it was, because I mean, it was hard to sort of like get her to come onto the stage. She was nervous and everything when the time's come. And when the time came now, and she went up and she started speaking, and she realised that, it's not that bad, and that was her first taster. And she came down, was it last month? No, 2 months ago, when we was down at the Chestnuts. And then she came down and she had some slides, and she had a PowerPoint. So you'll catch her again this week Sunday. This week I keep saying Saturday in my head, but it's this week Sunday. And you have Roots Doctor will be there as well? Yes, Elder Roots Doctor, and he's going to be talking about living off the grid. So what does that mean? Living off the grid is that it's like you're under the radar. So social services know nothing about you. You're not, as I say, registered with anybody. So living off the grid will be similar to the brother who Dave. Can't remember his name. Dave Murphy. He would understand about living off the grid. So you're not conforming to all the society and the governmental issues that they put on you that you've got to do. You've got to pay your council tax. You've got to pay your water bills or your TV license. You've got to pay for your driver's license. You got to, you're living away from that. So if they tap in your name in a computer, nothing comes up because you're not registered with anything.
Right.
So living off the grid is that you're there but you're invisible.
Seems like the with the straw man.
Exactly that.
The straw man.
That is exactly that. Because that is the lines that living off the grid is.
The straw man. Okay then. And who is she got who is on the panel?
We've also got Naomi. Naomi is also a friend of Natalie. And Naomi, she's more dealing with trying to get people together. So she puts on events whereas people can come together, share their experiences, or have somewhere to go with your experience, because there's nowhere for people to go, because when you're experiencing it, you're usually experiencing it by yourself. You're on your own, and when you do try to explain to people, they look at you like you're mad. So, and that comes from your family who actually knows you. As one of the members of the audience 2 months ago when Natalie spoke, she said that things was happening to her, and she was trying to tell her members of her family, and they didn't believe her at all. They thought she was mad, and it was just one of her aunties who actually says, "Hang on a minute, I know this child, and she's not like this. Let me talk to her some more. Let me speak with her and understand what she's doing. Spend a bit of time with her." And she actually, realised that her niece was being targeted. She's not mad. She's not going off the rails, because she said she knew her character as she was growing up. And this was totally out of character, just suddenly. And, for somebody who's supposed to be mad, you don't always have your faculties about you. Whereas this sister always had her faculties about her. But it's only what she was saying was a bit off because it wasn't like the norm. But the norm can be so different for each person, because the norm which is abnormal for us and somebody's living the abnormal life, that's normal to them. So normal doesn't necessarily come under the one umbrella that everything you see is normal. Somebody living in a bush, brought up by, as I said, was it feral? Brought up by animals? That's normal to them. And we're looking at them and say, well, you're a human, you're not supposed to be living amongst the animals like that. But to them, what we're doing is not normal. Everybody's normal is different.
Right. So, Auntie, we're talking about the event was taking place this Sunday. It'd be wise to give people just a brief overview how you got involved the Aunty Jean's African market.
Oh, the African culture market. Oh, brief. Can it be brief? Well, I started off the stall, and I was selling the products that I make. I make dehydrated fruits. So I have a selection of dehydrated fruits that I dehydrate, bag up, and sell. You can either have mango, kiwi, pineapple, apple, banana, and I said mango. And you can have a mixture, or you can have it singular. Also, I make a body wash. I make a hemp lotion. I make lip balm, hair oil, and a anti-age face cream, amongst other things. Some of the other things I make is a loo deodorizer, which is like when you go to the loo and do a number 2. You spray the inside the toilet with it before you do the number 2, and what that does is masks the smell. So anybody standing outside is not going to be able to smell what's going on inside, because it kind of pockets it. So you spray down the toilet first, and it pockets it, and then you don't really smell anything outside. So I call that the loo deodorizer.
Right. Okay then. Aunty Jean, and it's going for how many years now, Aunty Jean? It's going for
The African Culture Market. December will be our 4th anniversary.
our 4th anniversary.
So yes.
And trust me, it's going from strength to strength. So let people know about the address, the time, and etc.
Okay, the address is St Anne's. No, it's St Anne's Road. It's the Chestnuts Community Centre on St Anne's Road, and it's 280 St Anne's Road, and that is Tottenham N15 5BN. That is Tottenham N15 5BN. There are some stalls available, and you can give me a call if for on this number 07961 886 032. I shall repeat 07961 886 032, and that is in North London, Sunday coming.
Absolutely. Aunty Jean's African Market. I encourage everybody to make sure they're there this Sunday. And the time again, Aunty Jean, is from 3.
The time is from 1 o'clock. The actual market starts
Oh,
from
so
1
1
o'clock
o'clock.
till 8 o'clock. The presentation starts from about 3:30. The libation should be about 3 o'clock. And also there is another guest presenter on Sunday, and it's commemorating World War II. There's a veteran,
Oh, okay.
and he's going to be commemorating
That's
Arthur Torrington.
Torrington, yeah.
And he's going to be bringing along his guest. I'll get to his name in a minute. And he's going to be commemorating his life and let everybody know that we was there fighting in World War I and World War II, as you wouldn't believe by the way that they portray it on the news and the media. It just looks like it was, the Europeans was actually fighting. But our people, the African and the Caribbean people, were actually on the front line. We wasn't only on the front line for England when they were fighting, we was also on the front line for Germany when they were fighting. And any country that was actually fought against each other, they used us as African people for their front line. So the first set of people who perished in the war was us. So that's how comes they had so many survivors, because they were put back and our people was put forward, and we're not commemorated really anywhere. Was it Jack? Union Jack?
Oh,
He does the blue plaques?
Nubian Jack.
Yes. He does the blue plaques. He's got a blue plaque and is put up at the Windrush Square. And there was it last year? Last year there was a big commemorative event that he put on that had big, invited guests that came down.
Oh yes, you're right. I think you're right. I saw it on TV. I might saw it on TV as well. But you're right. And loads of few celebrity came down.
That's right.
Was it over West London? Was it?
No, that's Windrush Square, which is
Square.
in Brixton.
In Brixton, okay
just
then.
outside
Oh, right,
of
right.
the archives.
Okay then. But did he had a big? He has quite a few big things over the place as well. All right then.
Yes.
So when was it? When archives Brixton? When was that?
I believe that was last year.
Yes.
It was last year, and it was a big thing to put the plaque up because we wasn't being commemorated at all. And
that was a big thing. I remember.
And because of that, yes, it hit the news. It hit the main media. But what a thing, they didn't think of it themselves. But it's something that we have to do for ourselves, and it just goes to show that we can't be relying on anybody else to do anything for us.
Right. And just to say that we look at man like his name is Nubian Jack.
Nubian Jack. Yes, he started off doing that game.
Yeah, the board game.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember from many years ago. And we've got brother like him, who trying to encourage many of our people to take pride what we've done, and he plews down these plaques all over. I know he done some at West London, Brixton, and some other places as well.
Yes.
You know, for us to, you know, take notice
of our heroes
of our
today.
hero of
Yes.
today. See, so we have to salute this brother all the time, and he needs to be salute himself.
Yeah.
You know, definitely.
I think he's getting together with, because I remember Tony Warner was talking about having a plaque for Mary Seacole,
Okay.
and he's getting together with Nubian Jack for that, and I think a couple of other heroes of our past. He wants to, you know, have blue plaques put up and commemorated.
Okay then. Okay. All right then. So we're gonna have a very short break because expecting a call from Brother Dermot in about 2 or 3 minutes. So.
Thank you. I wanna say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. 'Cause I'm so grateful. So grateful. Oh, grateful. I'm so grateful. So I wanna say thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Now thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. I wanna say thank you. Thank you. I wanna say thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I wanna say thank you. I wanna say thank you. 'Cause I'm so grateful. So grateful. So grateful. So grateful. So grateful. So grateful. I'm so grateful. So grateful. I wanna say thank you. I wanna say thank you. And just thank you. Thank you. I wanna say thank you. Say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. 'Cause I'm so grateful. Yeah. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I wanna just say thank you now. Just thank you now. Thank you now. Thank you now. Thank you now. Thank you say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Hello? 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 Greetings, Brother Dougie. Yeah, I can hear you, sir. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, better now.
Yeah.
Okay then. But Dermot, I did say that you're gonna phone in, right, and talk about the book launch. So I know you're looking forward to it. You put a lot of work, but tell me something. Just a little background information about yourself, yeah?
A little bit of information about myself. I've been writing now for 15 years. Well, it's 27 years altogether, but it's 15 years straight. And I first started writing poetry. I've got a book out called Poetry from a Black Man's Perspective. And what I've done is I've combined the two books. The book that's coming out, the book that's out now, is called The Ghost Within. I've combined the one book into two. So half of it is The Ghost Within, or The Inner Man, and half of it is poetry. So it's a two-in-one book. You know what I'm saying? And The Liberators was out before, came out in 2012, but I'm launching the two books together.
Right.
So The Liberators is about, do you mind if I read the blurb?
Yeah, of course. Go on.
Right, the blurb says this, yeah? London 2030. That means it's set in the future, yeah? 2030. Akaya Abijah Jr. tells us of a prophecy involving his gifted parents, Akaya and Isis. In this snapshot of the future, all shades of ebony people communicate in new ways, such as via telepathy and visual mobile receivers. A new world may become open to them and their people with a way to return into the motherland. But the far-right group, the KTP, Kill to Protect, want to prevent such a thing from happening and kill those involved. Will Marcus, the KTP assassin, murder the most important people the ebony race has ever seen? Or will the Creator decide? Could Akaya be the reincarnation of a long-ago ancestor, the greatest emancipator ever known, and call upon supernatural powers to help? Both sides are about to find out. That's the blurb at the back. And actually, it was the publishers that wrote that blurb, so you must understand it's a very excellent book.
Okay then.
That's Liberators.
That's Liberators. Go on.
Now, that's the first book. Now, the second book is called The Ghost Within, or The Inner Man, or The Inner Woman. Now, that is about the flesh, the spirit, and the ghost within, or the inner man, or the inner woman. Now, a lot of people don't understand this, but the flesh did not come the spirit did not come before the flesh. The spirit did not come before the flesh. How I know that is because the spirit is built up of character. Now, character is mental ability, moral understanding, belief, and emotions. Now, all those three attributes, the first three attributes, mental ability, moral understanding, and belief, those three attributes have to be developed upon. But the fourth attribute, which is emotions, everybody has when they're born. But all these other attributes have to be developed on. Mental ability, the understanding, the insight into your own mindset, that's mental ability. Moral understanding, the right from wrong. Belief, everybody has belief in something. But emotions has to you're born with emotions. You cry, you laugh, you love, so you're born with emotions. But talking about the ghost within and the development of the ghost within, could you imagine, this is symbolic terms, this is symbolic terminology. Imagine a caterpillar being the creator, and the inner man being the butterfly. So the caterpillar, out of the caterpillar being the creator, the inner man is birthed, being the butterfly. So the birth of the butterfly is from creation. The creator creates the butterfly out of us. That's the inner man. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
anyway, the date of the event will take place on the 7th of December at 280 St Anne's Road, Chestnuts Community Centre, N15 5BN. That's at 7 o'clock till 9:30. That's 280 St Anne's Road, Chestnuts Community Centre, N15 5BN, from 7 till 9:30. There will be food provided and drinks.
Okay.
And if you like a bit of alcohol, there'll be alcohol there and special food as well.
Okay. And also let people know there'll be stools there as well.
There'll be stools.
Yeah, 1 2 stools. So if people are interested and want more information, you can contact me on 0788-240-3871. I repeat, 0788-240-3871. So more information. I know, Andre, is there any question you want to ask our beautiful brother?
Yes, hi, greetings.
Greetings.
Right, you said, was it the shadow or the ghost within?
Yes.
Could you elaborate a little bit more, please?
All right, the ghost within. For instance, there was a time years ago when I was at a friend's house and there were 6 of us there. And what happened was there was a knock at the door. It was his cousin come down from rugby. His 2 cousins come down from rugby. They knocked the door and they came in and we talked for a little while and they asked if we want to go to a party. So we all declined. And then next minute, he forgot something. So I said to myself, well, how could he come from rugby and forget something? I'm not going to say what it is over the radio, but I guess you should know. I said, how could he come all the way from rugby and forget that thing and don't give it to nobody? Anyway, on the 19th of February, 1981, a friend came and knocked on my door and woke me up and said to me, guess what? And I said, Humphrey's dead. Now that was the ghost within me connecting to the Creator on the day that told me that something was wrong. Now for 3 hours I debated on the fact that something's wrong and none of them could see where I was coming from. But when my friend came around my house, he said, guess what? The only words he said to me was, guess what? And I said, Humphrey's dead. But what I'm trying to say is that the inner man has a direct connection with the Creator. There's no middleman. There's no middleman. It's your inner man that has a direct communication with your Creator. I'll show you how vocal the inner man can be. For instance, you're talking to a friend and you're talking about another friend. And the other friend is, you're saying to the other friend, you're talking about the other friend and you're saying things, bad things, or you're going to tell him something that he's done. And your inner man is saying, that's enough now. And you're still carrying on. But your inner man is speaking to you, saying that's enough. And if you don't listen to your inner man, the conversation's going to carry on running. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And if you don't listen, it could be to your detriment as well, isn't it?
Could lead to your detriment, that's right, if you don't listen.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Because a lot of people can put themselves in trouble just because they don't know when to stop.
That's right.
You know, and I know if you call it the inner self or the inner shadow, or I say my ancestors, if you don't take heed, they'll make sure that you feel put you back in the right path.
Who don't take heed feel, isn't it?
Exactly.
Who don't listen must feel, that's what our parents used to say.
You know, and the way they make you feel it, boy, you do feel it.
You do feel it.
Yeah.
You do feel it. And some people, you see, what I'm trying to say is that when I mentioned about the spirit being a byproduct of the flesh, right, the church would have it a different way. They would say that the spirit came first, but we have to understand that spirit is built up of character. Now, character is mental ability, moral understanding, and belief. So if it's all these things, they have to be developed. You can't just, you're not born with mental ability. You're not born with a moral understanding. You're not born with belief. All these things have to be developed. So that means if you develop these things, it's obvious that it's a byproduct of the flesh.
Right. Right.
So tell me something, Dermot, right?
Mm-hmm.
That I know you've been right for how many years now?
27, but 15 years straight.
Okay then. 15 years straight, you said?
Yeah.
Okay then. And my question is that, you know, you work so hard, you're constantly writing, you're constantly pushing the message out. How comes we haven't seen you on major TV station, you know, and hear about you? Because, you know, you are an amazing story.
Let me say this. Brother Dougie, listen to this, Brother Dougie.
Yeah.
On my book is a picture of me with my head down and in a white
suit there.
In a white suit.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm giving a black performance, right, on the book front, right? You know what they sent me? My publisher sent me a picture of a white man with his head down and doing the same actions as I'm doing. That's what my publisher sent me. I said, look, I'm not compromising. I had to tell them I'm not compromising because it's not. You see, we don't buy books. We don't buy books, and plus, white people don't want us to get anywhere. Like Caucasians don't want us to get anywhere.
Well, that's the main message. They don't reach to a point. They don't reach no further than them. And yeah, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. You know, I mean,
they don't want us to get anywhere because you know something. It takes a lot. It takes a lot. It's when you're dead they want to recognize you.
Say
Bob
that again.
Marley.
Say that again.
It's when you're dead they want to recognize you. It's like Bob Marley. Bob Marley was recognized by a lot of white people when he was alive, but he was recognized by us when he was dead. Because in the dance, remember in the dance, we never used to play Bob Marley's tune until the end, until the end of the end of the show.
See, they only recognize us when we've gone. You see,
when we're gone.
Yeah, when we're alive, they don't want to recognize us. Yeah, anything like this. Yeah. Okay then. Well, listen. Again, just mention the event again, please.
Mention the event.
Yeah, mention it just one more time.
December the 7th, from 7 o'clock till 9:30 at St. Anne's Road, 280 St. Anne's Road, Chestnuts Community Centre, N15, 5BN. There'll be food there, there'll be drink there. I hope the children come out and enjoy themselves, and big people come out and enjoy themselves. There'll be stalls. Have a good time. We'll have a good time. Brother Minty, is guest host, guest speaker, and Dougie is hosting the show.
Okay then. So please come out in your numbers, and it says a family day. Have fun. Most of all, support the brothers and buy his books. See? Okay then. So don't give thanks again, yeah?
Yes,
yeah, thank you very much. And thank you very much for your guests there.
Give thanks.
Thanks, give thanks. Bye.
You are the face of God. Eres la luz de Dios. I hold you in my heart. Eres la cara del amor. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. 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 You are the face of You are the face of God. You are the face of God. You are the face of These are the gifts of the goddess, love, joy, and peace. Gifts of the goddess, are you ready to receive all the gifts of the goddess, love, joy, and peace?
I wasn't sure of my diagnosis. I was in and out of hospital on several occasions. They thought I had an ulcer, different things. And I was in for quite a long amount of time when they realised I'd had something to eat because I couldn't eat. I had a line fitted through my neck. It came out here, and it was TPN. I had to be fed through liquid. And I had an operation to remove the ovary because they'd realised through a CT scan that I had ovarian cancer, but that's all I thought I had. So I went home, went back the next week for the operation. I went in and they removed the ovary. They prepared me for a stoma, and they'd done biopsies. And they didn't know if I'd need a hysterectomy. They didn't know where it was at this point.
At its worst, how bad was it?
Oh, I had 6 weeks to live without treatment.
And it had gone?
It was all secondary, what this is. It was in my small bowel, which was inoperable, incurable. I had 3 big tumours in there. The whole of my stomach was speckled in spots of cancer.
What were you told?
Basically, it wasn't operable. It wasn't curable. Chemo might buy me time. Hopefully, they'd be able to get me eating before I died.
Oh, my gosh,
So
how horrible for you.
I left. I went back up to the ward. I just wanted to get out of the hospital. I went to the pub with my friend, my best friend, Annette, and I just sat outside the Red Line in my pyjamas. I had a PICC line in my arm here at this point, which eventually got sepsis with my first lot of chemo.
Oh, gosh.
And then I carried on when my friends had researched the oil from Rick Simpson.
So this is Rick Simpson. He claimed that his skin cancer was cured by taking this cannabis
He was the
oil.
founder of it that realised that it actually cures cancer, and it's the THC that eats the cancer. So
And this is the bit
they
illegal.
won't. I don't know why they won't legalise it here when
Because
it is
this is the
legal
bit
in
that
other
produces
countries.
the high.
Yes.
So that's
People are far worse drunk, aren't they, really? If people are going out drinking, they're in more trouble than they are, because this makes you really relaxed, chilled, sleep.
However, the first time you tried it...
I was giggly.
Yes.
But not aggressive. It's never made me... Like, if you can have a drink, people are aggressive, they fight, but this has never made me feel aggressive, tired, laughy, giggly, and if you drink with it, it's not good, because you hallucinate.
How do you take it?
I take it in a little capsule. I bought these online. I squirt it in there, and I don't like the taste of it.
And this is it? This is the oil? This is the oil. So that's about 5 mils.
That's not 5 mils.
Oh, sorry.
5 mils is there. That
Oh,
one's
okay, so
like
that's
half
3
off.
mils.
Yeah.
And you normally buy it in, am I right, in 5
in
mils?
5 mil syringe.
Okay,
Yeah.
and it's £250 to buy that.
Yeah.
And how long would that last you?
Probably about between 5 and 6 months. I do take a bit more now because in August, when I got sepsis in this line I had taken out, I decided then I wasn't going to have, because I was on chemo 3 days a week, every 2 weeks, attached to my line, and I'd had enough at that point, and I just went, I don't want this anymore.
Yeah.
And I hit the oil every night, and I was playing with it because I didn't want to take it. I didn't like the feeling. And I didn't know if it'd really work. I was a bit sceptical,
So what
to
are the
be
results?
honest. Well, my next scan then, when I'd only had like 1 lot of chemo, and then I had a scan, and the results were absolutely astounding. It's all gone. In my pelvis, ovary, stomach, small bowel, the tumours have gone.
God.
There's a little bit left in my gastric stomach.
There are a number of occasions, we've interviewed people on the sofa here. How come at this stage we know so little about its curative effects?
Essentially because the government hasn't allowed people to take it and use it for these purposes. As far as cancer is concerned, there's around 20 to 25 years of evidence from tissue studies, animal studies, and anecdotal reports like Joy's here of quite remarkable, quite very profound effects, and up to the level of cures in some cases. But there's been no controlled clinical trials, no double-blind clinical trials.
But I don't understand why, because I'm assuming that treating with
why.
cannabidiol would be cheaper than the vast amounts of money that are used for chemotherapy.
But is that why? Is that part of the reason?
Well, if you've got to mind for conspiracy theories, then people accuse Big Pharma of being quite opposed to cannabis legalisation because it would potentially eat into their profits. But in terms of cancer, what the animals and the tissue studies have shown is that it causes the cancer cells to commit suicide. It's a process that's known scientifically as apoptosis, which basically is called programmed cell death. And it also prevents or reduces the level of the blood supply to tumour tissues, so it tends to sort of shrivel them at one level and then sort of knock them out completely at the other.
How important
Can I just say, though, it doesn't work for all cancers.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work for all individuals. So one cancer in different individuals might have different effects, and different people have got different susceptibilities to cannabis.
How important is this THC? Because we've got a Home Office spokesman said that a CBD product which contains any trace of the psychoactive compounds that are found in cannabis, such as THC, therefore unlawful to possess and to supply. I mean, you're breaking the law. How essential in the product is the THC?
There are different, obviously, for different medical conditions, the cannabinoid balance is changed. So for epilepsy, for instance, CBD is the compound that you're really after because it's anticonvulsant, and it's also that is actually legal in this country.
Legal, yeah.
THC is the one that has the effects on things like multiple sclerosis, on the sort of cancer, on various other conditions, and pain relief particularly, and that's the one that's illegal because it gets people high, and the government regards people getting high as a very serious side effect, whereas the individuals that take it, some people regard it as an adverse effect, some people regard it as a beneficial effect.
Joy, I mean, as we've just discussed here, you are breaking the law. Do you worry about getting into trouble with the police?
Not at all. It's my life. When your back's against the wall and you get told you've got 6 weeks to live, you'll try anything.
Yeah.
And I've never touched a drug in my life, but,
And will you continue to use it?
I will, yeah.
From the scientific perspective, can you explain to the average listener how cannabinoid oil works on a cancer cell?
The normal system, the normal immune system, how it works against cancer. We make cancer cells all the time, just when the DNA goes haywire, you get an out-of-control cell. And if it aggregates, then it forms a tumor. But it starts off as a single cell with an aberrant DNA. Well, the immune system knows about this. And the endocannabinoid system, which is part of the immune system, goes to work on it. Now, an interesting thing about cancer cells is that when a cell goes cancerous, then an increase in the number of receptors for cannabinoids increases in the cell. So when the body's own immune system senses this, then the endocannabinoid that the body uses is called anandamide. And anandamide mates with these receptors and stimulates the production of a chemical called ceramide. And ceramide is like the SEAL team. It goes in and kills the target. When ceramide is produced in the cancer cell, that it kills off the mitochondria, which produces energy for the cell. So once the mitochondria is dead, then the cell can no longer survive. Now, when the immune system becomes overstressed through illness or injury or stress, then it gets behind on killing cancer cells. And it doesn't take much to get behind on killing cancer cells. So, if you develop a tumor and all of these cancer cells, then you take a cannabinoid supplement. Then these cannabinoids go and
just paint some information. Look at the whole thing about cannabis oil, and there's been evidence, if you go on YouTube, where they talk about how cannabis oil has helped to reverse cancer, stage 4, stage 5, within 60 days. So what we're doing over a period of time is encourage people to just go online, check out the information. And we know those who are terminally ill with cancer, cannabis oil can able to reverse it within 60 days, 90 days. Let's say, what is there to lose? And one of the days we will get chat to give a testimony how he cured his dad with cancer. And I think within 3 weeks, 3 or 6 weeks, something like that.
So he cured his dad with cancer? What cancer did he have?
I think he had liver, if I'm not mistaken, or might be liver or lungs.
Well, because the lung cancer is a very big killer. That killed my granddad and my uncle.
Okay.
And and it's rapid. It can be rapid as well. My uncle went very quickly, and it's a pity. I didn't know anything about the cannabis oil at the time, and I didn't know about the coconut water as well, because coconut water is good too. So and also eating raw food. So I heard that if you've got cancer or if you've picked up cancer, if you stop eating cooked food, even if it's 5 days or a week, just eat raw food, and the only water you drink is coconut water.
Absolutely. You're able to reverse your cancer.
And make sure you cut out that sugar, because cancer loves sugar.
Yes, that's what it thrives on. Sugar. Okay then, as we just wind down slowly, wind down a little bit, just to recap with Aunty Jean's African Cultural Market was taking place this Sunday, and it's kind of people just come out, and support Aunty Jean. And Aunty Jean works tirelessly, she put herself out, always working hard for the community, and in fact she gets around. I see her so many different kind of events.
And you?
And always with a beautiful smile, and Angie's got a vision, and a vision that she wants to encourage many people to come to African market so the money can circulate in the community. in the black
If it helps
pocket.
circulate us, because I think we are the only community that the money does not circulate. I think it's not even twice round.
Twice.
You know,
Yeah.
I think the Jews, is it 13 times or if not more?
Even more, yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know, we are not getting anywhere, and we're not learning either. You know, we just seem to be giving our money, you know, away all the time, and that money that we're giving away is not coming back into our community. So hence the Asian man shops, we go in there, we walk past our own shops to go and spend our money with the Asian man, because he will be selling something 1 penny or 2 pennies
2 pennies cheaper.
And you know, we're not helping ourselves by doing that.
And what people don't understand is this, right? That this is the whole thing about collective unity, because they can come together and buy a lot of this stuff in massive, in bulk, so to speak, at a cheaper price. So they can afford to bring the you know, penny
The
or 2
prices
penny.
down.
Yeah,
And they're buying for themselves.
and they're buying for themselves.
Whereas we've got to go
Yeah.
to them to
Yeah.
buy from. So already the price is already inflated.
That's why it's a deliberate ploy what they're doing all the time. They know what they're doing, you know.
There was this sister called Sandra Pinnock, the same surname as myself. She had a shop in Peckham, but she had to close, and she's got a shop that sells hair products sells mainly hair products in Lewisham. And a sister came up to her and actually said to her that she went to an Asian man's shop, and the Asian man said, whatever she sells you, I will sell it to you cheaper.
For real?
For real. Whatever she sells you. And he's talking to a black, this is how confident they are. He's talking to a black woman about another black woman who's got a shop that's selling the similar things that he's got. And he's saying to this black woman, anything that she sells you, I will sell it to you cheaper. So you tell me how much she's selling it for, and I'll give it to you a lot cheaper, because he wants to have her out of business.
Right. I just show you the how they view us,
How they work, yeah.
and how they work, how they see us, and they're in their mind, right? The one says out of business, you know. So therefore, you know, their whole perception of we as African people, right, is to be exploited, you know. Where they are in the community, we need to open up 2 shops around there, and you see how they flag us, and we make money. They make money off of us, you know.
Literally. They're rich off of us.
Yeah.
They don't spend no money with us. They don't come into our shops.
Well, that's the key thing, and you know, I'm not envying anybody and showing any kind of hate, but the question is, right, do they come into our shop and spend any kind of money with us? No. Yeah.
Do they even help put anything in the community?
That's right.
You know, a community centre or something, or a sponsor any project that is actually in the community that they're making money from.
And you know something, you're absolutely right, because if they was putting something back in the community and sponsoring like a community centre, I wouldn't have no argument, to be honest with you. I personally wouldn't have no argument.
Yeah.
Right? But they're not doing it, taking money out of the community and bidding wherever they are, but say, what, you know, should be, but put something back, because they're making money from us. Yeah.
Left, right and centre, they're making money from us. And as I said, the money doesn't come back to us at all. But we will break our neck to go straight past for our own people, to run in there to go save 5p, you know. And if you look at the logic of that, it's not getting us anywhere. We need to be spending that extra 5p with our own people, because when we spend that extra 5p with our own people, it comes back to us. You know, we're not saying we're making each other rich. We can make each other rich, but instead we're making everybody else rich.
That's right. That's right. And that's the pain of it, you know. We're supporting and making other race of people on this planet here rich, based on what? Our ignorance. And what does our ignorance mean? Ignoring the facts, ignoring the information. As Dr. Africa said, if you're stupid and ignorant, there will always be a business. And he went on to say that intelligence rules the world. Repeat again, intelligence rules the world. So that's where we're at, yeah.
That is so true, because if you look down your high street, doesn't matter what area you live in, look down your high street and see the majority of who owns the shops, and see the majority of who are the customers, and look it and check it and see, do they intertwine?
No.
They don't. They don't intertwine at all. And yet again, we are so quick and so willing to give our money to them, and yet they don't. As I said, they don't put nothing back into the community, and it's just, I don't know. If we stopped going into their shops, even for 1 week or say even a month, those people would pack up and they would go.
Yeah, they would collapse. Yeah.
They'll pack up and go.
Yeah.
We actually keep them there.
Yeah, it's true. Absolutely spot on and absolutely true. We actually keep them there, but constantly supporting them, spending our money, our pounds and pence and whatever. And it's no mention. That's how they come strong. But as Aunt Jean said, that if we stop going after a week, most 80% of the work will just close down. See, just show the power we have and the spending power we have. See.
And that's the only reason why they're in our community.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why they're in our community. Because we are, foolish enough or foolhardy enough or desperate enough to save the little extra to go into their shops. Yes, granted, there's few of our shops, but there's few of our shops because, for one, we don't support it. For two, the people who have the shops do have a hard time, because if they're selling anything, then their landlord usually puts their lease up, their rent up, and usually puts it up so high that they cannot stay there. The only shops that we seem to have and allowed to keep are barbers, hairdressers, food shops, and churches.
Be our own, but when it comes to us, economically, business, in fact, on the market, well, you come in a minute, Supreme,
There's one in Kilburn. Is there one in Kilburn? It's more like a wholesaler.
But it's one
West Green Road.
Small. Oh yes, African supermarket. Yeah. You're right, on West Green Road. Is that by the brother who runs the club there, isn't it?
I think it's a Congolese.
Congolese, yeah. So three. So okay then. I forgot about the brother there. How long? That's been about few years now. About 4 or 5.
A
few years. Yeah. Okay then. So again, we've got one. Yep. Okay.
I just wanted to point people in the direction of, apologies for just interjecting, but in the Metro or Evening Standard last week, there was an article about West Green Road being the worst road in the UK. Have you seen that article?
For what? Worse for what?
But that's just it. But if you look on West Green Road, majority of the business are from our background.
Oh, so they're ruling it down
So
because
we've
got the majority of the shops there.
So
So
if
the
you
one
take a-
place that we've got the majority of
I
shops,
couldn't
they're
understand
running it down.
They were talking about tanning shops. I thought, hold on, there's no tanning shop. They talked about chicken shops, and I thought, hold on a minute. Let's rewind here. And I sat down with a group of brothers, and I said, you know something? We need to write back about the article, because if we take a walk down, let's say, Green Lanes, which is a ladder road to West Green Road, how many kebab shops back to back each other? You understand?
Yeah.
So I believe there's an ulterior motive.
Of course.
With the agenda of putting it on the front page, putting it in the middle page of saying the worst road in the UK, West Green Road. And I was like, huh?
That must be
What are
the
you talking
only
about?
road that's got the majority of our people that's got shops.
But this is just interesting when we look on. I look on. You see the high road champion supermarkets are moving out and moving into retail parks.
Right.
But yet when they look and they see certain areas of our people flourishing.
Then running
They
back in there.
no, they set up their little Sainsbury's local and their Tesco's local. You know why? Because they want a cut of the
That's
money.
it.
What's going
That's
on there?
it.
So what's that really saying? The man didn't really go down West Green Road and really look at Tesco's and Sainsbury's and thinking, well, if it was that bad, why would Tesco's and Sainsbury's themselves want to cut on a slice of West Green Road? We have to really look at their motive, you know. And there are when you talked about black supermarket, I bumped into a black off license, which is on White Hart Lane, and just like Auntie Jean said, is that we do not frequent these shops.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we may assume that the person is just working there and not the owner, so we can subconsciously sabotage ourselves. So we have to really look at, you know, there was this group going around called Money Mob.
Yeah, they're still around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's kind of gone quiet, but you know,
they're going abroad as well, you know. But I think they should to focus themselves over here,
right,
before going abroad.
now let's look at this. We're having the biggest spend up coming up soon. You know what it is, isn't it?
Gosh.
Christmas will come.
Christmas.
The biggest spend up is coming. And we are going to see, as Bob Marley says, who's the real revolutionist. Because I see some revolutionists buy Christmas tree and buy Christmas presents. But
they do it under the quiet.
And join in the folly. I see man like it like going through a state of depression buying presents. I said, what's the matter? He goes, I just got to get my daughter something. If I don't. And that pressure that they put on us for that day is unbelievable. And we fall for the biggest trick, and we know. But, you know, somebody said something to me, and I said, you're going to do all the overtime you're doing. And it's funny enough, this was Tuesday. She said, oh, Christmas. I said, you're going to do all that overtime, all that work to go and tell your children, Father Christmas bought it for you.
You know what I mean?
I said, tell them the truth.
I never did tell my children that.
Well,
unfortunately, my grandchildren are suffering because I already done tell them, say, you're not getting nothing for Christmas because I'm not following all of that. You know?
But this kind of leads to the other thing about Kwanzaa, because that's encourage many of our people, you know, to, you know, visit and support the Kwanzaa, because you learn more just going there, and there's more substance when they go there, and you know, and it's not, and also it's not this thing about alternative Black Christmas, alternative to the Christmas thing. Kwanzaa is a way of life, you know, and there's certain principles you have to observe. You know, we're talking about the other thing about Kwanzaa, and trust me, it's so rich, beautiful, and so meaningful. Auntie, you want to jump in?
I was going to say the beautiful thing about Kwanzaa is not just for the period between the mid of December to January. Kwanzaa is it's 7 days. It's over 7 days. And basically you repeat that throughout the 7 days of the week throughout the year. So you put the principles into practice on each day. So it's not just for the end of the year, it's for the whole of the year.
Absolutely right. And Marla Karenga, who is the founder who invented Kwanzaa, and I can't remember the date.
Over 50 years ago, isn't
it? More than 50 years. You know, so he was the one who, I think, went to some part of Africa, observed their culture, their principle, and brought it to America. And you know, we have to salute Marla Karenga. If I not pronounce his name properly, right? Am I pronouncing his name right, Auntie?
Karenga, something's Karenga. The worst one of my memory is terrible.
So we really do have to salute it. You know, the Kwanzaa. You know, and it's been going in the UK for about 40 years. You know, the first time I went to a Kwanzaa celebration, I think it was, I can't remember now, probably in the 80s. And I haven't been but the last 10 years, I've been constantly going to the Kwanzaa celebration. Well, I've been going quite regular, so, you know. Aunty Jean, how do you find the Kwanzaa, and you seeing the progress in Kwanzaa celebration and stuff?
As I said, considering I was quite surprised how long it's actually been going on for. And I've only sort of like really tuned into Kwanzaa the past, say, what, 5-6 years. So I don't know, where have I been, you know?
Oh, it lasts 5-6 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I've been sort of like finding, because I'm really a baby to the Kwanzaa. I'm new to it. So I'm sort of like each year I'm learning a little bit more. And I think from last year they've actually started to do the Kwanzaa principles every day, rather than just for the end of the year. So, you know, I think, is it Kuchikachulia? I can't pronounce that one too tough. And Ujima and
Jima, there's a Mani. Some I'm not up to date, but you know, something we have to get so familiar with. Yeah. Nia, which means purpose, I think. Yeah. And Ujima? No, Jama?
Ujima, yeah.
Jima.
Yeah, there's one of these.
Yeah. So, you know, so something we have to get familiar. Supreme, you wanted to jump in?
Yeah. When you're talking about Kwanzaa, you know what I love about Kwanzaa? What I love about the Kwanzaa, is the unification of our people coming together, you know. There's something about when we come together. There's an energy when we come together, right? And you know what I find? We seem to get this energy and then it fizzles out as we go to our homes. But when we come together, there's a liberation energy, right, that I see that our people have got. But it just seems like when we go home, I'm going to say something here. Some people may not like me, but there's too much distractions in the house. The television, all kind of technology. Do you understand? But when you're focused, you see the energy. Am I right, Brother Dougie?
No, absolutely.
There's
right.
a different energy, you know.
Energy, yeah.
Even.
There's a buzz,
listen.
There's electricity, yeah.
The journey of you leaving your house, going to an event, is energy.
Okay, that's an interesting point there. And well, you're there on farm. But you remember we was at the what the place they call Reparation March.
Yeah.
Right? When I first went and see so many thousand a few thousand people, I don't remember numbers. But just the buzz, the colours, people chanting, you just energize, you know? And to me, you know, that's why I personally go every single year, and to energize and be part of. You see, we see our people, you know, working so hard, right? Make their sacrifice, you know, commitment, the time, sacrifice their family, you know, you have, to me, have no choice but you have to get behind these individuals here. And the reparation, these people have sacrificed their time, their commitment. Yeah.
It's very interesting, you know. You're talking about Kwanzaa. Because on my way here, I said, Supreme, why, you know, you got to step up your game in 2019. You have to talk the thing, not be the thing and talk the thing. Because, you know, I just feel it's time for step up. And one of the people that's made me feel proud to step up is a sister that you always talk about, Sandra Hurst.
Oh, Sandra Hurst.
Sandra Hurst brought something to us, and it's so simple. We can bring this out again at Kwanzaa, the 5 jars.
Yes.
And you know the jar that I want our people to work on? The liberation jar. Forget about the bills jar, the jobs jar, the investment jar. Let's talk about liberation. You know something? If I ever tell you where I came from today, and I realize, you know something, I wonder if that is the key. I wonder if that is the key. But I'm saying, when we go out, and I big up Brother Leader Bandaka when they talk about liberation, it's a price, you know, Dougie. But some people think, you know, you know what I mean? Go and sound off at the event. But we need to now look at the liberation jar. You know, that investment of that jar. Let's not talk about it. Let's liberate ourselves.
Yeah. And that leads in beautiful about whole thing about African Liberation Day, you know, where we celebrate in May. I think it's the end of May. And again, that's about celebrate African Liberation Day, where African people are on this planet here. You know, I remember Spirit talking about the price you got to pay for liberation. That's why African Liberation again is another day we should all be observing, you know, and being there in our numbers, see, and feeling the vibes, you know. So we are talking about everyone was talking about health and health. No, talking about health.
Okay.
Sorry, talking about health and talking about the cannabis oil, the benefit of it, and I played a recording that within 60 days, if you take it every day, and obviously you got to change certain your lifestyle diet, you can reverse stage 4 cancer. See, so again, very powerful product. Yeah, and you know you have to know what you're doing as well. See, and there's some evidence because there's a lady right now. She had about 3 weeks to live. The recording's on it, and she said to her husband, "Listen, just heard about this guy, heard about this product," and she wanted. She changed her lifestyle and diet. Don't she was on the cannabis oil? I've got the recordings here anyway, 'cause I don't, right? And within 3 weeks, she reversed her cancer. Now she wants to, it was about cannabis oil, and she wants to legalize cannabis.
Yeah, in the UK.
I think it's in the UK. See, so a lot of things we need to be observed, and that Supreme was always advocating. I advocate, and Jean, that we need to do our research.
Yeah.
We need to do our research. We need to check things out, turn it upside down. You know, because, and I'm saying to people, just go online. On YouTube is a great vehicle for us to educate. You want to come in, Sabrina?
No, I want you to talk, and I'm glad Natty's in the room. Carl X, Aunty Jean. Family in the room, you know. And they don't even want to express themselves that their family's there. Sadly, this week, I don't know if you've heard the news, and I didn't really want to come on radio talk about when a person is sick, but it highlights a situation with us and some of our people. The situation with the artist Gappy Ranks. You know about the situation?
No, what's
Well, sadly, Gappy Ranks, right, is suffering from a stroke. I don't know if it's mild or what spectrum he's on it, right? 35 years old.
He's young.
Stroke. You're finding a lot of younger people suffering from stroke, especially if they have sickle cell, suffering from stroke.
So they've been targeted?
No, I wouldn't say a targeted thing, because it's down to our diet.
Well,
stress.
They target our food.
Yeah.
They target our air.
Yeah.
They target the water. I mean, and now I believe personally that they target us by frequencies.
Yeah.
And a lot of, when we was growing up, I think we only had about 6 injections, if anything. Now I think before a child reached like 19, they've had about 64. So there's injections for this, there's injections for that, there's injections for that. Now they're even trying to get children as young as 2 years old, I don't know if even it's younger, the flu vaccine. They're even vaccinating pregnant women now, whereas before it wasn't even heard of. You couldn't, as a pregnant woman, you couldn't take tablets, you couldn't take any injections. Now they're giving it to you.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Do you remember the drug that they used to give women?
Is it thalidomide? And they made the children came up with armless and handless.
Stuff like
It's called thalidomide.
Yeah.
And from that, they stopped giving any medication.
Is it childbirth? Was that to do with child?
No, that was
protection?
to do with they gave
the
you that
morning
because
after.
of the morning sickness.
Oh.
So when you suffered from morning sicknesses, they gave you the thalidomide.
Oh,
so
okay.
then, hence you end up with thalidomide children because they named the disease what the child had with, limbless. They was born limbless.
Yeah.
After the medication that they
and
got.
when we're talking on a time frame, are we talking like 60s? Because
we're
really see
about 60s
currently.
70s. No, because that got banned.
I tell you what, we do see on the rise, autistic.
And that is
autism.
through what the MMR injections.
Yeah, we are seeing that.
And that is targeted our boys too. So your child will be perfectly normal. And I've heard after even 72 hours after the child has had an injection, some of them is even shorter than length of time than that. They see changes in the child, and the child will be speaking, and the child's no longer speaking. The child will be coherent and looking straight in the face and no longer do that. Yeah, and that will be an instant from an injection that they've had, which is the MMR. As I said, they target us. They don't want our boys to thrive, and so not wanting our boys to thrive, they will take them from young. We'll have abortion clinics around where we live, so that they wouldn't even get to infancy. On top of that, boys are killing each other. Somebody made a statement the other day basically saying, which is so poignant because it goes with the depopulation. It says,
is that
fatherless,
eugenics, is it?
Yeah, fatherless boys are killing fatherless boys. So if you check and do that, they're not going to be reproducing at all.
Yeah.
And the ones who's doing the killing and get locked up, either they get locked up in a mental institution or a prison, they won't be reproducing either.
Yeah.
So you've got the abortion that stops the child from thriving. You've got the boys killing one another. They haven't got no children in the first place. They're young. They're getting younger. The last one's 15 years old. He will never have any children or grandchildren. So that line there stops with him. So it's another form, as you said, a form of eugenics, another form of the depopulation, which is that they're actually trying to achieve, or that they are achieving. It seems like we're not dying quick enough, so they've upped the pace.
This goes back, sorry for jumping in and interrupting your show.
No, jump in.
2019, my African proverb. You've heard my proverb, innit?
I haven't.
What about the lion?
About the lion, you know the lion.
Yeah, I know that story.
What type of lion are you? A circus lion, or you're the rare lion in the wild jungle? Because some of us are lions, But you know you see the circus lion. Even the ringmaster can open the mouth and put his head in there, and he wouldn't bite him. Still a lion, though. We need to be that wild lion. No, I'm being serious, because we are lions, But until how the African, let me test you if you've done your homework. How that proverb go?
See, y'all try to test me. Son, I heard that story many years ago, and I tell you how I heard it. I heard there's a program called looking at some images in Hollywood, images in Hollywood, yeah. And I remember this brother. And the question was asked, why is it there are more black people in Hollywood? And obviously you watching this program, and the guy said, listen, when the lion is able to tell its own story, you get the truth, right? And he's spending the whole thing about with we in Hollywood, right?
Yep.
See, so I heard that proverb many years ago, and it's a very powerful proverb. And it's something we should recite in our cycle all the time, and come back make our own movies and documentary and film, right? I know you're very much involved in that area there, right? And again, we should document as many things as we've done, because the reason why that is history, and you could pass it on to your next generation, next generation, next generation. You see, so I know that we should film and video people doing positive things in the community, you know, and put it out on YouTube and what, because the reason why, because as we say, these people portray negative images, and that's what we see over and over and over again.
All the time. That is so true. That is so true. I mean, that we have nothing positive out there. And as I said before, we've got to do for we've got to do for ourselves. We can't be relying on anybody else to do things for us or bigging us up, because they're not going to do it. We've got to do it for ourselves. And as you said, we've got the means, we've got the YouTube. It's a free thing that you can put your uploads on.
Yeah.
So anybody who's doing anything good in the community can use that platform. Yes, we have the WhatsApp as well. I mean, I know we're bombarded with this stuff already. But we need to put up more positive things. There's still a lot of negative or a lot of things that's against us moving forward that is sent around the WhatsApp group. You know, as you said, there's a lot of likes for somebody doing something stupid or one of these so-called idols, pop idols, and yet if somebody who's got accepted in how many universities, you know, there's hardly any likes on that.
I'll give you a joke. On the way to the studio, and a note, somebody, raw food for pets.
Hello?
Raw
Well, they eat raw food
diet.
anyway, innit? They eat raw food, don't they?
Raw food.
Because they don't cook their food. If they're gonna hunt it, they don't cook it anyway, do they? So it's raw anyway.
But,
so
you know,
you give them bloody food.
we as human beings, right? When you really check it, we look after cat and dog better than our own neighbour.
Have you seen their hotel in Battersea? Have you seen it?
What, hotel?
I think they set that place on fire deliberately, because of what they've put up now, it's like a hotel.
What, for cats and dogs?
Glass, yes.
Oh, you lie.
And it's about 3-4 floors high. You go in there and I said each dog has got its own little cubicle. And each cat has got his own little box and thing inside there. And you know, when that place burnt, I think it's only a section of it burnt, but they've built the whole thing on space that they didn't have, and it's a massive place now. Within half a day, they collected over £500,000.
Wow.
They put
Listen
the
to that,
out.
people. Listen to that.
And this is cats and dogs.
Cats and dogs. And you know something?
Half a deer.
They even have, you know something? The Royal Protection of Animals, is it? They got. They're protected. Brethren, you go and get attacked out there and see if anybody got any protecting society for you. But just look at what's going on.
Yeah, but let me give you a joke. I remember a few years ago, it was in the paper where this man wanted to marry a dog. You know? No,
There's a woman who married a dog.
Okay then. So you know, I'm not making this up. You know?
No.
Just show.
What country is it? Is it Germany? One of them has actually passed a law that they can whatever with animals.
Oh God. That is.
Bestiality. It's legal. It's legal.
But that comes from the Rome, innit?
It's them. All those things come from them because they was in the caves, isn't it? So they didn't have very much food. They didn't have very much space. So most of the time, as I said, to save food, when one of them died, they used to eat their one another.
Okay, we've got someone alive now.
Greetings.
Yeah, hi.
Greetings.
Yeah, hello.
Hi.
Is that Aunty Jean?
Hi, greetings. Is that Kofi?
Yeah, it's Kofi.
How you doing?
I'm fine, thanks.
I believe that you've got something to tell us, isn't it? Well, tell us first a bit about yourself.
We have a cooperative, and the cooperative is called Sankofa Cooperative.
Right.
It's been going for approximately 6 years, 7 years now.
So what does Sankofa do? What is the cooperative? Can you explain a little bit more?
Yeah, Sankofa is an educational cooperative. It educates people in business, properties, finance, and education. We operate in all those 4 sectors.
Wow. So how long have you been running?
We've been running approximately 6 years.
Mm-hmm. And is it based where? In this country?
Yeah, it's based in this country, but we also have connections to Africa.
Okay. So what connections do you have? What do you do?
Well, we could help people to source any kind of business or any kind of business activities in different parts of Africa. We could help people in regards to any problems they have in the UK. We help people a lot via our executive mentor program, which is a program where we train individuals in 4 basic things that you require if you're operating in any jurisdiction. We train them in executive law, equity and trust, common law, and agency.
Okay.
Those are things that you need if you're going to operate in any business or if you're going to operate in commerce anywhere in the world.
Okay, yes. Oh, that's what the noise is. I didn't realise, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, my brother. I just want to ask a question about your organisation. It is the name of the organisation, my brother.
Sankofa.
It's called Sankofa.
Yeah, Sankofa.
Sorry, Sankofa. So,
yeah.
I wonder if you could just throw out the aims and objective again of Sankofa. What we're looking to try to achieve.
Right. The aim and objective of Sankofa is to empower all people so they know how to interact and interface with any activity and any situation in society.
Right. And is it just for African people or non? How does it work?
It's for indigenous people.
Just business people. Okay then.
Yeah. Anyone can be a member, but normally if you get a different group of people that wants to join us, they have to have an indigenous partner because it's for indigenous people.
So I want to repeat again because it was a bit too low. Sorry. Repeat that again, please.
Indigenous people, just in case people don't know what indigenous people are, it's the original people of this planet.
Okay.
Yeah? So it's for indigenous people, all indigenous people.
Greetings, Kofi. This is Supreme speaking.
Yeah, hi, Supreme.
One of the things that I think that we need to, I'm going to use the word exploit, right, is what a thing called e-commerce. And nowadays I look at, there are a lot of groups that have come up and says we need a shop, we need a community centre, we need this. But if we look at the strategies that some of these supermarkets are now delivering straight to your house.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I was looking at 2019 is for black-owned business delivering directly to the householder, because sometimes we may be too focused on that we do need a shop. And I know, right, I would say I'm 85% sure that half of these pizza shops that people get the letters dropping through their letterbox is done in someone's house, because we have become lazy to go and trace back the source of where the food or where it's coming from. So I'm saying that I think it's time now that we take the opportunity, because we got companies like Uber, you've got Just Eat, and you know, it's just on a click on your computer that we can get a service delivered to us. So I think we need to, as black indigenous people, to get our services to become more on the e-commerce, where we know, all right, this is a black run company delivering directly to its customers.
I totally agree with you. We have addressed that problem, and we've got a site that we are developing where it would encourage any indigenous individual to actually become part of that, where we also have like affiliates programs and all that built into it, so that it could empower people so that they could buy and sell amounts one another and get it shipped directly to their home. And we source our product through only indigenous people and Africa as well.
Okay.
And sorry, and do you do the workshops or?
Yeah, we do workshops. We do training. As I said to you, there's many of us that's operating out there,
right,
in commerce. And when I talk about commerce, I mean commerce is the economy. All right. Okay. And when you break down the economy, it's the economy really is it's controlled by the banks and the government, really. All right. But we need to start operating our own economy, which is internal to that economy, which is really set aside in our money to benefit ourselves. Just like how the Asians, the Jews, and all those people do business, they have an economy operating within the economy.
So if people want to contact you, brother, is that email address or?
Yeah, the email address is info@Sankofa, that's SANKOFA, co-op, COOP.co.uk. So that's info@sankofacoop.co.uk. Yeah. They can also ring us. They can either contact me as well. If you want do you want me to give out my number?
Yes, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, my number is 07-985-730-903. The type of things that we help with as well is problems within the community. So if you got problems like, it could be a repossession problem, it could be a housing issue, it could be a business issue, how to structure your business. We do training in all these areas as well. All right. So we've got different training courses, business, properties, finance, and different educational training courses. And as I was saying, you normally find a lot of our people, they go out and they do business. They're just operating, but they don't know what they're really operating within, the structure they're operating within. So what we do, we break it down for them. And it can be broken down into 4 categories, basically. And those 4 categories is the law of agency. I'm not talking about like an estate agent or a job agency. I'm talking about the actual legal side of agency. When you leave your front door, you're out there in commerce, and you're operating as an agent. All right? So we teach about that. We also teach about executors, which is how to execute things as an executor. For example, people will be familiar with executors, like if someone made a will, they'll appoint someone as the executor. And that person as executor is in control of settling all the debts and distributing all the assets to who it needs to be distributed to. But executors goes beyond that. It's actually in your day-to-day living, all right? And a lot of people don't realize that operating as an executor on many occasions, I mean, like when you're working for someone, for example, you're operating as an agent and you're also operating as an executor. So we teach you all those things so that you can identify those things, especially when it comes to dealing with contracts. You see, you'll be signing contracts and doing different things in your day-to-day life, but you don't really see what role and what position you're actually putting yourself in, signing a lot of different contracts. So all that is made clear to you so that you can see exactly whether you're operating as an agent, whether you're operating as an executor, and to make sure that that is nested within you, the body of knowledge that you need to go with that is equity and trust and common law, as well as understanding the whole legal system.
I'm glad to see you brought up the whole thing about trust, because it's very important that especially you have family that you put in a trust. And the reason why, because if you look at someone like look at the royal families, for example. I look at
which family?
Look at the royal family.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And take someone like Prince was it Prince Harry?
Prince Charles.
Prince Charles, right?
Prince Harry, Prince Charles, either one of them.
But the thing is that supposing the wife decides to say, well, they want a divorce, there's no way she get half the money because everything goes into a family trust.
There's nothing for her to get.
Nothing to get because it's in a trust. Right?
It's in a trust.
And trust is something we need to be very familiar with, because it's important that once you understand the whole thing about trust, you put everything into a family trust. Because I mean, I had a bad fortune because when my dad passed away with prostate cancer, he was in a care home for about nearly over a year. By the time they're going to probate and this and that, they took all the money. But the money was in a trust, you know? Yeah, come down to the family.
Well, there's different ways that could have been dealt with, but in general, yes. If it was in a trust, a specific trust, it could have been protected. You see, one of the mistakes we make as well is that everyone have a lease of life. Okay, so let's say, for example, you live until 80. Your lease of life was up to 80. So everything that was within that lease, unless you protected it in some way, shape, or form, it will then either go back to the state or be subject to taxation on death. All right? Because taxes is due normally on death or normally on a sale. Okay? So by it being in a trust, there's no time limit to it. So it won't be subject to tax, and it won't be subject to tax on death because there's nothing to die. You see? So you could protect things in many different ways. But trust also goes beyond forming a trust like a family trust. It goes where when you step out your front door from the private to the public, it's pure trust that's out there. The police force, for example, the hospital, the dustbin truck, taking a insurance policy on your car, everything really is a trust. And you've got to understand what role, your obligations and your duties and all those things clearly, so that you don't breach them, or if someone is breaching them to you, you see. So we go into full details with all of that. All right? So the other thing that extends the body of knowledge as well is common law, something that's not really taught much these days. And that's vital. You know, we all hear about common law and all sorts of things, but sometimes we do not clearly understand it.
Sorry, my brother. Before Supreme jumps in, very quickly, just explain what is common law, because people might hear about that for the first time.
Oh, it depends. Common law, people think it's a specific thing, but it could be anything that's common within a society. All right? Say, for example, let's say, for example, I'll relate it to something like food, all right, so that you can see what I'm talking about, so you can see specific. It's commonplace that most indigenous people would probably have rice and peas,
yeah,
or something of that nature,
yeah,
as opposed to fish and chips.
mm-hmm.
All right, so that clear cut, all right, is something that's common to either specific groups of people or common to the jurisdiction in which you're in, or the land in which you're in. Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay then. So I know Supreme wanted to jump in.
Yeah, no, there was just a lot of things that was coming into my mind, and one of the things was making our children financially savvy, programs for them. You know, back in the day, it could be a simple thing like playing a game of Monopoly, or what's this Rich Dad Poor Dad's got a game? I can't remember the name of it.
Rich Dad Poor
Dad.
Yeah, there's a game, Cash Flow Quadrant. Is it?
Cash Flow.
Yeah,
I
think it's Cash Flow 101.
Yeah.
And I think these are the things, if people believe in Christmas, if people want to give a present, why not give something that's going to educate them financially? And that's, you know, in the UK, Monopoly was a big thing. I don't know what's happening now. We've gone American and we want to follow Cash Flow Quadrant. But
Monopoly is not a new game, basically. It's if you look at the history of Monopoly, it's things that was developed by people before it was turned into Monopoly.
Yeah.
And what made it into Monopoly was Monopoly. The company that run Monopoly bought up all the rights to all the other companies, and then they developed their monopoly to supersede everything else. You see. But yes, I agree with you. We should be taught those things, but it has to also start from the adults as well, because it's not just about the children. The children, they learn from us, and things are nested within them from the parents. You see, so if the mother and father don't develop themselves, then it also hinders the children, because when the children need assistance to develop, who do they go to? When they need guidance, who do they go to? You know? So we concentrate on both parties. We concentrate on the mother, the father, and we concentrate on the children as well, so that it's a family thing rather than just a sole individual thing.
Yeah, one of the things I'm going to put to you, Kofi, right, is to get yourself on a radio program, either like what you're doing now, weekly, and just put out some bite-sized elements of financial education every week. Because sometimes we try to deliver things in all one chunk and we don't get it. But something just came to my mind, and it's just something that I never learnt at school, but it's just the history of tax and how tax came about. And the tax came about to fund the wars. But the war is finished now, right?
Well, it didn't just came about to fund the wars. Tax came about to fund the royal monarchy, yeah? A prime example of that is Henry VIII, and also King Harold, you know, and all those people. What was the one that was held to ransom with the Magna Carta? That was, I think that was Harold, I think it was. Where, in order for them to fund their lifestyle, and you've got to look at the society in which you're living in as well, because the society in which you're living in came from the feudal society, where it was the barons and it was the aristocrats that controlled everything, and they wanted a way of subsidizing them having to pay and maintain their land and turn it over to the peasants. So hence capitalism came in the 18th, around the 18th century, when you had the explosion, when Europe and all those places wanted to develop, you see. And capitalism came over from those people, because capitalism is two words, isn't it? It's capital and ism. And when you break it down and look into the etymology of these things, to operate in capitalism, there's a requirement of capital. When they was handing out capital, we was absent from the table. They never gave us none. So even though some of our brothers and sisters may think they're making great headways, earning money for themselves and getting on in their lives and having all these extravagant things, we're losing as a nation, as a group of people, because we don't have, you know, the capital requirements.
But I just want to jump in there, because I wonder right on what Supreme was saying, that we haven't been taught anything about money. You know, what is taxes? Why do we pay tax? You know, and these are kind of, to me, should be taught in school. At least have some kind of strategy, or get your mind prepared to certain things, and also look at certain contradiction as well, because I mean, they said the country's in debt, right? So therefore we got to pay taxes, we got to pay this and this and that, right? But yet again, have to show the people the invoice. Show us the invoice.
Right. You're going into commerce there, right? And there has to be clear understanding in how to operate in commerce in the first instance. Yeah. For example, Starbucks and all those companies, Google and all those, how much taxes do they pay in the UK?
Okay, I see what you're saying.
None.
I see what you're saying now. Yeah.
Because they're not in this jurisdiction. They operate outside the jurisdiction. And also, when it comes to taxation, you need to be careful what documents you sign, because you're liable for taxes when you sign a declaration stating that you're going to be paying taxes.
Okay.
Okay. So,
okay.
Do you see what I'm saying?
I should come back to about the contract again now, yeah? You mentioned
yes, it all comes down to a contract. If you sign a contract, make sure you read it and delete the bits that you don't like and change the bits that you don't like, and then sign it. And if they don't want to do business with you, they won't do business with you.
Okay then, okay. So,
and that's where the overstanding need to come from. And that's what we concentrate on. There's many of our brothers and sisters operating out there thinking that they're doing the right thing, and they're doing exactly the wrong things. They're putting themselves in traps. That's why when you get a scenario that happens, you get all this stuff confiscated from them, because they didn't know what they was doing. They didn't own it in the first place. They didn't secure their position.
Yes, greetings, Brother Kofi. It's Supreme here again. When we started our show, when I came into the show, because I wasn't here at the beginning, I mentioned a money-saving system strategy that a person taught me about 10 years ago, and that was the money jar system. Do you know much about that?
Money jar? I don't know about. I don't know what you mean.
Where you divide your money into
income.
6, and your first jar is your living expenses. Your second jar is your freedom jar. Then you have a contingency jar. Then you have an education jar. And then you have what we call a play jar. And then we have a donation jar. Now, your living expensive jar is 55% of your earnings that you put in this jar.
Yeah.
Your freedom jar, you put 10% in. Then your savings jar, you put 10% of your earnings in there. Then your education, you put 10%. Then your play jar is 10%. And then you have a thing you're called the donation jar. But what I was saying to Brother Dougie and Auntie Jean at the beginning, we are coming up to a time in the year where we're going to be bombarded with Christmas and they're going to force us to buy things. And I think there should be a jar called a liberation jar, right? Where, you know, we should have a jar in our house to say, okay, we put our money in their foolishness, but let's put a percentage of that money in the liberation jar. Because freedom, education, and all the things that we need to edify ourselves is going to cost. But we get so distracted with all the pagan rubbish and get caught up in all this rubbish that we seem to say, I've got no money.
Right. Well, I hear what you're saying, but it can come to nothing. All right? And the reason why it can come to nothing, especially when it comes to the liberation jar, the liberation jar should be doing business with your own indigenous people, and your indigenous people buying from indigenous people. That's the liberation jar. Because even if you save all your money and you went down the road and buy from your enemy, are you liberated?
Yep. I hear that. I hear that. Are you there, Kofi?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Okay. Kofi, just the final words, really, that in the near future, are you be writing a book on this particular subject you've got? You talk about?
Well, we got some events that's coming up. I mean, we got a wonderful masquerade ball coming up.
No, I was talking about, sorry, have you written a book on this particular subject?
Well, no, I haven't written a book on this subject.
Is that something you think of doing, or documentary in the near future? I just want to.
I will do something along those lines in the near future.
All right. Then.
All right.
Could you let us know when your event's coming up?
The event that's coming up is a masquerade ball. It'll introduce people to Sankofa. It's called Return to Ghana 2019, and that's to do with the President of Ghana relaxing the rules a bit. We got a speaker that we're bringing over from Ghana. That's a top woman that won many awards from North to South Africa. The event is, as I said, a masquerade ball. It's on the 24th of the month, where we will be introducing Sankofa to people. It's a you know, like you get a 3-course meal and all those kind of things. The tickets is roughly around £60, but if it's bought through members, they get it at £50. And that's what we're actually doing for this month. But we have regular events for Sankofa, and we've done different events throughout the country. We've done Birmingham, we've done Manchester. We're in the process of doing about 50 other parts of the UK, Leeds, Oldham, Leicester, Nottingham, Bristol, Cardiff. We're going to be doing right the way around the country, you see. So there will be events. I mean, you can look us up on our website, and that site is www.sankofa.coop. That's SANKOFA co-op, COOP.co.uk. And the meaning of Sankofa itself is it's not wrong to go back and fetch what that you have forgotten and take it.
Okay then. So Kofi, give thanks for your contribution, and we definitely like to encourage people to go and support you and check out your website. You have a website, Kofi? Do you mention the website again?
Yeah, the website is www.sankofa, SANKOFA, Corp, COOP.co.uk.
Okay then. Sankofa give thanks, yeah?
Okay.
You want to say something?
Sankofa is a business name, a company name. So
Oh, that's his
coffee. Yeah.
Oh, coffee is his name.
Yeah.
So again, give thanks.
Is he off?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, bro.
Could you repeat what you just said?
Right, a lot of us is setting up businesses out there, and many of us is in the mindset thinking that we have to get register a company.
You have to do what? Sorry, I missed that. Register.
A lot of us are setting up businesses out there. This is people in general, that especially the youngsters, thinking that they have to go and register a name and register a company. And sometimes that could be the worst thing that you could be doing, because it doesn't really allow your business to grow. It's best to start off where you don't have anytime you register something, you're registering it to, you're giving away the powers of that company.
Away, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then you have to pay, not paying tax.
You end up paying a lot of taxes, and you may not even reach the threshold to be paying out so many taxes, which stops your business from growing. You know, so, we teach all these things so that people can have, they could have an incubation period to grow, and then after they grow to a certain degree, then they could decide what is best and what route is best to take from that point.
So it's got its advantages and its disadvantages.
It has its advantages and disadvantages. The only advantage of having a limited company is that it's deemed as a person, a separate entity. All right?
Right.
That's the only advantage of having a limited company. Bar that, there's no other advantage, and the only other advantage that you will have is that where you have a lease of life where you could die any minute, a limited company don't die any minute. It doesn't have a lease of life.
But Brother Coffee, when you said that you don't to rest your business, does it depend on what kind of business you have?
It doesn't matter what business you have. You just got to do a quick calculation, basically. If you're in a business that's dealing with people that put your business at risk on a daily basis, then the best route is a limited company, because it's a separate entity from you. And no one can come into your private affairs and seize your assets. But if it's a business where it might be like you're delivering stuff, for example, and you're just starting out, you don't need to go and register a company. You just simply start out trading out, and develop your business so that there's no distinction between the private and the public.
So what you earn is what you earn. Is you don't have to.
Yeah, you can use it and allocate it however you want to allocate it.
Yeah, you don't have to give out.
But if it's a limited company, well, let's look at something. Let's look at all these people. I don't know if you remember that company Polytech years ago.
Polytech?
Polytech?
No.
All right, well, know EasyJet, yeah?
Yeah. EasyJet, yes.
Yeah. Right, and you know that the guy that started it was voted off the board by the other people, yes?
Voted by who? But which other people?
Well, the members of the board, right?
Okay, yeah, all right, fair enough then.
Right, okay, right. So with a limited company, the point that I'm drawing to your attention, although you set up a limited company, you may think you own it, but you don't really own it. It's owned by the government. It's generally run, and the chairmen of the boards and different things could vote off you that started the business. Do you see what I'm saying? Right. So that's the point there. All right. So not necessarily a limited company is the best vehicle to use. It is a good vehicle to use, depending on the situation in which you're using it for.
Okay then.
All right.
Okay then. Well, brother, again, give thanks for your contribution.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really appreciate what you had to say.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much. And could you repeat the day of your event?
The day of the event is the 24th of November, 2018, and it's a jam-packed event where we're having a comedian, we're having dancers, we're having singers. It's introducing people to what Sankofa is about. It's a paid event. The tickets normally go at £60, but if they've done it through a member, then they could get at £50. If they do a group booking, they get 15% discount off the £60, which brings it down to 40-something pounds.
Okay.
So there's many different options that you have. So if they want to attend this event, all they need to do is ring me, text me, or make some point of contact via the website, email, or anywhere that they want to make contact.
Okay, my brother. Give thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, give thanks. Thank you, Kofi.
Okay.
All right.
'Cause I'm so grateful, so grateful, oh grateful. I'm so grateful. So I want to say thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Now thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day.
I had something to eat because I couldn't eat. I had a line fitted through my neck. It came out here, and it was TPN. I had to be fed through liquid, and I had an operation to remove the ovary because they'd realised through a CT scan that I had ovarian cancer, but that's all I thought I had. So I went home, went back the next week for the operation. I went in and they removed the ovary. They prepared me for a stoma, and they'd done biopsies. And they didn't know if I'd need a hysterectomy. They didn't know where it was at this point.
At its worst, how bad was it?
Oh, I had 6 weeks to live without treatment.
And it had gone?
It was all secondary.
Thank you, 'cause I'm so grateful, yeah. I'm so grateful, grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I wanna just say thank you now, just thank you now, thank you now, thank you now, thank you now, thank you now. Each and every day I'm gonna say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Eventually got sepsis with my first lot of chemo.
Oh, gosh.
And then I carried on. Well, my friends had researched the oil from Rick Simpson.
So this is Rick Simpson. He claimed that his
He's the
skin
man.
cancer was cured by taking this cannabis
He was the
oil.
founder of it that realised that it actually cures cancer, and it's the THC that eats the cancer.
And
So
this is the bit
the
that's
bit they
illegal.
won't. I don't know why they won't legalise it here when
Because
it is
this is the
legal
bit
in
that
other
produces
countries.
the high.
Yes.
So that's
And
that's
people are far worse drunk, aren't they? Really.
Yes, so we're going to say our buys. We're going to put a pin in it, you know.
I want to interrupt you. You know what? Every week you come and you do a show, and you've been doing this for a long time, and every time I hear you ask a listener or a person you bring in, when are they going to write a book? I want to ask you a question. You know what the question is? When is you going to write a book?
That's a very good question, you know. I haven't even thought about it, you know.
It'll be a good book, wouldn't it? Because
No.
look at the experience.
Yeah, I haven't even thought about it. But fine enough, I'm looking to put something, as a collective of us, I want to put something together, dealing with everything about relationship. So, as a start, 'cause I'm going to put other input in that, in that, and it'd be good because, you know, and so that's something we want to do this time. Definitely want to have a book out this time next year, but it'd be a collective of us. So that'll be closer of writing, you know. But like I said, everybody's got a book inside of them, and we do encourage people that, you know, need to get your story out there. I know Auntie Jean's got very powerful stories, you know, and eventually she'll be writing a book, or she might be starting now. I'm not too sure. And probably the Spin Doctors is probably getting a book, or he put one for a documentary about himself. You can documentary about yourself, right? Yeah. Documentary on what's happening in Haringey, you know. Oh, not in Haringey, but also where Auntie Jean's side is over them side there. What's happening over
in the southeast,
South London, you know. So everyone should tell a story. There's much part of them there, you know, because there's a lot of positive things happening in, I would say, in Haringey. Yeah, there's a lot of positive things, but we don't hear about it. We always hear the negative things, you know. And Supreme, just to let you know that someone you know very closely, son has joined the ancestors. Yeah, someone you know closely, you know. So I want to big out condolences to Sister Cherry, right? And I know you're going for some challenging times. You know, I don't want to talk about under circumstances because we don't want to horrify anything was already being horrified already now, you know. But yeah, we feel it for you, Sister Grace, for the family as well. Feel it. So, but when the time comes, she probably want to share some information with us and thing. Okay, Auntie, you want to find a word of you, please?
Yes, I would like to. Hopefully, I will see you all on Sunday at. On the 11th of November at the Chestnuts Community Centre between 1 o'clock and 8 o'clock. Address is 280 St Anne's Road.
St Anne's Road at the Chestnut Community Centre, near enough opposite St Anne's Hospital. That's a landmark, you know. And 67 goes down to and the 341. 67 goes down. 67 goes down to St Anne's Road. In fact, it drops it straight outside the centre, just to the drive. You want to go to Chestnut Community Centre.
Does that bus take you from the train station?
No, from Wood Green on Temple Entrance. You get it from there, and also from Dalston Station. It depends where you're coming from. If over Dalston side, you get 67 from Dalston until the drive drop at Chestnut Community Centre. You know, if you get it from Wood Green Turnpike Lane, 67 take you straight out there, straight outside the centre. See?
Okay.
You know. Yeah. Also, if you're Tottenham High Road, you can take the 341, drop you not at St Anne's Road, but just where the park is. You just walk through the park at about less than 3 minutes. You'll come there. That comes down Blackboard Lane. Or if you come from Manor House, you get off at the corner, the one stop at Blackboard Lane, right? But once you have the driver, just show me where Chestnut Community Centre is, where the park is. He'll drop you straight there. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Just a reminder that Sister Natalie will be doing a presentation. She's the author of Remote Control, and basically, if you're been like Natalie, who have been traced, tracked, monitored, followed, etc., then come on down. You're not alone. There's other people who's experiencing it just like you, and come and be with other people so that you can get the support that you need and also the help that you also need. Also, Elder Roots Doctor will be coming and telling you how to live off the grid. And Sister Naomi is a follow-up from Sister Natalie, and she does like workshops and tries to put on surgeries so that the people who are experiencing being tracked and monitored and have your other business and what have you interfered with, she can come and tell you that there is a little bit of support out there and ways to try and get around it, and how to help and support one another. So come on down and see both Sister Natalie and Sister Naomi and Elder Roots Doctor, and not forgetting the Elder Arthur Torrington, who is coming down with his guests to tell the veteran from the Second World War, and to say that yes, we were there, we were fighting for Queen and country, in brackets, but it hasn't done us a lot of good. They haven't even recognised the fact that we was actually there fighting for their cause, and still we have nothing to show for it. But anyway, coming down, and let's commemorate our war heroes of the day. So that is me, Aunty Jean. You can sign it off, saying good night. Sorry, there's one more person to say goodbye.
Yeah.
You want to say goodbye?
Why? Dougie, is how you treat me?
No. I said that. Don't forget, I asked you, and you said, "Boy, I'm at 4." But I said the final word was with Aunty Jean. So I don't know if you wanted to. But of course, make the final word. You be the final word now.
I just want to say to people, yeah, you see in the new year, you know, it's funny. You come to this time of the year and you make pledges and you make resolutions. I've made my plans from now, but I for some reason they are gonna launch next year. But you know, you said something about the book. One of the easiest things to, if you're gonna start writing, right? I think some of us think of the whole task and try to do it all in one. You can just start by just naming the chapter, you know. You know, 1 week you might name one chapter, the following week you might name another. You start by the chapters. So you said you want to do a book about relationships. And then you know, you could start with the first chapter. I don't know what you're going to call it, but when you look at it, sometimes I think that and it's the same as
the whole picture, and it frightens you, doesn't it?
It's the same as a resolution or a pledge when you have it in the new year. Sometimes you set yourself up so high to fail because you want to try and do everything in the first week of January, right? Right? You want to lose weight, you want to find a partner, you want to buy your house, you want to buy a car, get a new job. All these things we put in to January. By the second week we said, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. But I'm saying, you know, even from now, really and truly, we should be putting these things into bite-sized things. And throughout the year, we should be saying, oh, you know what? This is my target from January. This is my February target. This is my March target. You know, don't hurt ourselves. But, you know, the one thing I find for myself personally, I keep I'm a person, I keep stuff to myself. And I think, no, you have to be accountable. And, you know, just tell a close friend and be accountable to your friend. You understand?
Well, it's quite interesting because there's a group what meets, a men's group what meet once a week on a Wednesday. And what is right, the brother who set the men's group, you observe there's a lot of groups for women, so women can talk and share or whatever.
They don't even need a group to talk. So
but, you know, right, women...
Of course we do.
Yeah, there's no women's group, right? But one thing you were saying that one of the men should have a group.
Is
right?
that the Black Father Support Group?
No,
talking?
no.
Oh, there's one over this side.
This side, yeah. With different names. Really just men talk.
Okay.
Yeah. And what is that? Men just come together and you look at a fifth subject heading or something you feel is really burning, and we say, oh, let's run with that and discuss, you know, how you're feeling, you know, if you're going through certain emotions and what emotions are, and we discuss these things there. Because one thing that Supreme was saying that men don't really talk, you know, was really hurting them deep inside. See?
Do you have that group over here, or are you gonna set?
No. There's a group. Sorry, going. It's just started, in fact.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just started. So, you know, but Women Wise been start to promote. Let's get permission to let people know. You know, 'cause again, it's a very tight group, very private. You know, and so much. You get so much out of that session there. You know, just people just releasing and letting go of what they've certain things was happening in the past and this and that. You know, it really is powerful.
I was just going to jump in here and that talking is a therapy in itself, you know.
Yeah. It is.
Talking is a therapy.
Sometimes
you know,
it's
another
just
good
needed.
thing that's therapy, people take it for granted, is painting and decorating and doing things around the house.
Shopping.
DIY, do it yourself, is the biggest feel-good factor you could get. That's why these superstores are so, what can I say? A lot of people go there on a Sunday, bank holidays, because doing the odd job around the house is therapy. You know what, Brother Dougie, I'm going to say something here and end the show and summarize. Me doing the radio is therapy. People think, you're doing a good show. No, it's a therapy. It's therapy.
Yeah. So y'all work therapy. Y'all get your therapy though, you know. Yeah, those are therapy. All right then. We see what his objective though.
He's enjoying his
yeah,
therapy.
come out here and talk. Yeah, and this is therapy. Make him feel good and he can sleep easy off now. And it's come off his chest and so forth. Okay then. So I want to give thanks. This is the show after show, the Jammarsta show, and inside the host we have Aunty Jean. Also, the great man, the Spin Doctor Supreme, and this is Brother Dougie. So I want to give thanks and praise to the Most High.
You are my family. You are my family. You are the face of love. The face of love. You are the face of love. The face of love. I hold you in my heart. You in my heart. You are my the face of God. You are the face of God. You are the face of God.
And these are all throughout the body. They're not just in the brain. Okay, they're not just affecting the psychoactive portion of the body. Okay, they are affecting the brain, but also even more so throughout the course of the body in our inflammatory system, in our immune system, and everything that we need to know there. Okay, CBD1 is found mostly in the brain, however. So CBD1 is the one that affects your mood, it affects emotion, it affects a lot of things when it comes down to your appetite, even coordination, movement, and pain that relates to your brain and how you perceive it. Okay, then we have CBD2. CBD2 works on the body, works on inflammation, works on the immune system. And there is a correlation between CBD1 and CBD2. They communicate, of course, but one is more so for the brain and one is more so for the immune system and for the body. And what you're going to find is that THC activates both of these. But here's what
no cigarette smoking in my room. Yeah, I still want Marley. Bless FM radio, play good.
Welcome to a range of books and study guides based on 27 years of teaching and published by Eagle Publications for students.